Okay, welcome back to the channel. I'm here again with Ann Willis, and we're going to talk about another horror movie for Spoilers with Friends. Remember, if you like it, hit like and subscribe so that I'll have another subscriber. I'm up to 202 now, so I've broken the 200-person subscriber barrier, which took me a long time to do, so I'm excited. But tonight we're going to talk about Horror Express, which was a 1974 movie, I believe, with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee and Telly Savalas. And if you think that sounds crazy, it is. The whole movie is crazy. And as usual, I will throw it out to Ann to see some of her opening remarks on Horror Express.
You can't ever get bored with Horror Express because they have packed basically every trope possible in a horror movie, I think, into the same movie. And somehow it manages to string itself together pretty well. But it's, I mean, you've got aliens and zombies and frozen anthropoid things that come back to life, and brain sucking, and people doing science to fix the problem. It's got everything.
And there's Rasputin, and there's nobles, and there's the British and the Russians.
Dogs.
Then there's dogs, and there's spies, and or is she a spy or is she a diamond thief, or both? I can't remember now.
I think she's both, and she's looking for that special kind of steel that is going to revolutionize the world. That's in there too. Okay,
so yeah, anything you can think of is probably in this movie.
Yep.
Except, I guess, possibly vampires, unless you want to consider something that drains your memories out as sort of like vampire.
Yeah, it's kind of a memory vampire.
Yeah, so a type of a vampire. But yeah, the setup for this movie is the strange ape man thing has been dug up somewhere in far eastern Siberia, and it's China. Oh, right. So it's up to Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee basically to get it back to, I guess, Britain. But they're taking the trans-Siberian Express. So it's one of those convenient things like a submarine or a spaceship, where when the bad thing is happening, you can't just leave, right? Because if you're in a haunted house, it's like, why can't you just walk out the door, right? There was the director of Below, which I would also recommend sometime, and that's B-E-L-O-W. People think I'm saying Blow, B-L-O-W. That's a Johnny Depp movie. No, Below is a World War II submarine movie, and the director of that said he wanted to set it on a submarine because you can't just leave. If it's haunted, then you can't just walk out the door. You are underwater and you're stuck. So yeah, they're on a train and they're basically stuck because outside the train is Siberia. And so there's nowhere to go. So they are stuck on a train with a strange ape creature, with some Rasputin type crazy man, with a thief, a doctor, all kinds of people happen to be on this particular train going back to Moscow. So
an engineer with lovely curly hair, very 70s. So there's all kinds of different knowledge that the monster can suck up.
Yes. So the monster does suck your brains and turn them flat. So it takes all those little convolutions out of your cerebellum or your cerebrum and turns it flat, so it has everything that you know. Consequently, it gets smarter the longer things go on. And it's able to do this not because it's an ape man, but because it's from outer space. It apparently got left behind by its friends billions of years ago.
Because it was a jerk, probably.
Probably because it was an asshole, yeah. And so they left it. They were like, you get stranded on this planet. Because there's no life on this planet. Because the most advanced life at the time apparently was single-cell organisms. So it had to parasitize, vampirize single-cell organisms, which I assume don't have terribly great memories, and had to just sort of survive in those, and then finally into fish, and then lizards, and it's moved on its way up, and the last host was apparently this ape man. So now it has finally entered the modern world, gets language and scientific knowledge and cool stuff like that. But then, of course, we have to throw the whole religion side of things into it because we're not skipping any trope. And so Rasputin, the Rasputin type character, interprets this as being Satan because why not, right?
And then he decides to be on Satan's side because let's pick the winner, right?
Yeah. Satan's clearly going through all the people on this train. So see if you can just say, hey, can you be my buddy and don't kill me and wipe my memory? So at that point, then the thing decides maybe it is Satan, right? Because I mean, it now has everyone's memories from the early 20th century. I think this takes place around 1904 or 7 or something like that. So it now knows scientific knowledge at least up to that limit. And and it does, there's a scientist, right, that it does take his brain too, so now it knows about rocket ships and stuff. So it's going to be able to like think about how to build rockets.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't have rockets in 1904 or whatever, but this guy knows the theoretical applications at least. And so at least the alien creature knows that it's now possible that perhaps within a few years. Oh, hey, and there's our other movie critiquer. So within a few years, it should be able to vampirize enough scientists, I guess, to be able to build a rocket. Is kind of a nice idea, I suppose. So, it just goes crazy. And once people figure out what's going on, then we have to try to find it, because now it's hopping from person to person like some kind of demon thing that appears,
like
I guess.
Or not alien. Kind of like The Thing, where you never know who it is.
Who is there? Who's got the alien inside them? So we never know, unless it's dark, right? If you darken and shine a light, then the eyes glow red or something. And
that cracked me up. It's like this creature that has lived through every epoch of time, and they can control it with a flashlight. Did you see Christopher Lee, and he's going after it? He's got a flashlight and a gun, and it's like, it's like, wow, you couldn't have evolved something better than that.
Yeah. So and then we have the great Telly Savalas as a Cossack.
His part is a joy. He's just so bizarre.
His lines don't make any sense.
No.
I think they're supposed to be deep in like wisdom, kind of the Cossack wisdom or something, I suppose, because he has some adage about the devil having to be afraid of one honest Cossack. I guess he assumes that he's honest. I don't know. But I guess he thinks the devil then must run from him and his guys.
I think they just need to give him something to say.
Nothing in this movie makes any sense, but it is completely chock full of everything you could possibly want in an early 70s. Yeah, in an early 70s horror movie. It's got, terrible special effects. And and nothing makes any sense. And I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah. I mean, and it's grosser than a lot of that era kind of B movie. There's a lot of bloody eyes and white eyes. And I noticed there's one scene where the monster goes in and he like lifts the brain off of this dead. He just kind of checks it, like, what is he doing other than just making a gross scene where you can pick the top of somebody's head off? What's he gonna find in there?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we must have like a doctor on board with a bone saw who's doing an autopsy and has
because they saw the top of everybody's heads. Maybe there's a dining car. I don't know, but and there's just little strange details. Like I noticed that there's one scene where there's a full bottle of vodka open on the edge of a counter in one of the offices. I mean, it's this close to the edge. And I thought, what Russian or any person would put a full bottle of vodka right by the edge of a counter on a train? I mean, I wouldn't put it there on solid ground, but on a train, it's going to be history in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I guess they don't like their vodka that much. I don't know.
I don't know. Or they weren't totally into the train vibe. I read somewhere that there was like a story that the guy that wrote the script just wanted to use a train because the Spanish company that made the movie had made a movie called Pancho Villa, and they had leftover train sets. Okay. So they wanted to use them.
Gotta do it on cheap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a nice train.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was the whole Ed Wood thing too, right? He'd go and borrow props from other sets, right? So we got these train sets. We don't know how to use them. But it is useful.
Why not?
Why not? It is useful. As I said, if you can't escape, then at least you know why they're not running away from the creature. Yeah. You know? And if you're somewhere in the middle of Siberia in the winter on a train, where are you going to go? Right? But speaking of nothing makes sense, at the end, then when we have more or less killed most of the people in the movie, except for Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee and a couple of others, the Countess makes it, I think.
Yeah, I think the Countess makes it.
I don't think her dog does, though. Or does her dog make it? I can't remember if the dog dies.
I don't remember.
But pretty much we have just a few people left, and they managed to decouple the last car, so they're slowing down, but the rest of the train's zooming off ahead over a cliff.
Yep.
Because, of course, you would build train tracks right to a cliff edge and then just leave them there. I mean, were they going to plan to get to Moscow? I mean, does the train normally fly over the... It's like, we're not going to get to Moscow very easily.
I don't know. If there was a part where there was like a change in the tracks and they changed that so it would go a different direction, I missed that. But my question about the end is, okay, you dump the monster over the edge into this inferno of flaming train. Why doesn't he just morph into a protozoan or something? I mean, surely there's plenty of bacteria and stuff on the train.
Probably. Maybe
a mouse, anything.
Maybe he says something about he's evolved, so maybe at this point he can only get into things that are multicellular. I don't know.
That's true. Possible.
Any explanation that came up would be, I guess, acceptable, because
just as plausible as the rest of the movie, right?
Right. Because I'm thinking, even if they did,
look through a microscope and you see the last image that the dead guy saw, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, don't we see dinosaurs or something? It's like, so this person was looking at dinosaurs, real ones? Yeah, okay.
Well, at first I thought that too, but then I realized maybe that's supposed to be the genetic memory of the creature that goes all the way back. Because at first I thought, well, what is this, the Flintstones? This guy's riding a brontosaurus. I don't, come on. But I thought about it, and I think you're supposed to be seeing the monster's memory.
Okay. I did watch it again before we were going to do this, but that was a couple of months ago, since I've been away from my video collection now. I watched it last night
this morning.
Okay, so you're a little more up on it. But I do like that movie a lot. It was one of the first ones I bought on VHS. It's like, this movie is just so... I don't know. I don't know what the difference is between movies that are terrible and they're just terrible, and that are terrible and I love them. Because there are a lot of horrible movies, and this was one where it's...
and Christopher Lee make, they make this to me. That, and it's just, the plot has so much garbage in it. It's hilarious. I mean, it's...
What haven't we put in here yet? Oh, rockets. Okay, sure. How about Rasputin?
Yeah, you don't get the feeling that anyone there is taking this particularly seriously. That helps it to me.
I think that's part of it. I see a lot of those two Conan movies that Schwarzenegger was in. I have never rewatched the first one, and because people tell me how great it is, it's like, it was unwatchable to me because it looked like everybody thought they were making Shakespeare. And somehow it was just painful to watch these actors think they're making something great, and it's terrible. I mean, James Earl Jones turns into a giant snake.
That's pretty awesome, though.
But the second one, clearly everyone is chewing the scenery on purpose. Nobody is taking it seriously. They're all laughing at this movie, and to me, it's much more fun. I love that movie because it's just cheesy, but everyone's going with it. It's like, yeah, let's just do this, and it's like, yeah, okay, I could do this with you. So maybe that's part of it. They throw themselves into it and they're not taking it real seriously. And so you're like, yeah, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, that does it for me. I have a tendency that if something takes itself too seriously, if no one else is making fun of it, I will.
It just gets me dreadfully dull sometimes too. There's like, people, you're not doing Macbeth, But
I love Conan the first time. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It is, but I found it unwatchable. I've never seen it a second time.
I own that, actually. I think I own both, actually.
I do. I've watched the second one quite often, and I really want to give an Oscar to whoever put Sarah Douglas in all those costumes, because she is she is so gorgeous, and the costumes are so beautiful. They have what the teenage girl like dressed up almost up to her like chin, and here's Sarah Douglas and things that are just like really slinky, and there's mostly not there at all, and sort of draped all everywhere, and like, oh yeah, it's like some fantastic outfit. Yeah, I love.
They remind me of the Boris Vallejo and Frank Frazetta fad days.
Right.
Those movies came out during the height of that.
Yeah, her costumes are amazing.
Yeah, I had a lot of that artwork on my walls, and
Yep. All right, so we both love Horror Express. So how many creepy doll heads are you going to give it?
I will give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Probably going to get upset with me for reserving that, but I just do. It's not Alien. But it's a lot of fun, and it's really terrible, which is enjoyably terrible.
Which is something you just need every so often, right?
Yes.
You can't.
Oh yeah. And it's free on YouTube.
Yes. So we'll search for it on YouTube. I could even put a link down below. But
yeah, you can watch the whole thing free, even in English or Spanish.
Watch Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Telly Savalas, and a cast of dozens. Let's string off a cliff into nowhere, Siberia. So, all right. Well, then we will see you next time for the next Spoilers with Friends. I'm also starting a little sub playlist for this, Spoilers Without Friends. I'm
working. You don't like?
No, it's when I can't get you. I'm gonna just like talk to myself a little bit. It's more fun to have somebody to chat with on these. So I really enjoy having Anne here, and so we'll still do Spoilers with Friends, but I'm going to start a few Spoilers Without Friends because I've been binging these like 10 to 15 minute horror shorts, and I don't know how many I've tried to watch because some of them, if they don't catch me, I just move on to the next one. Okay, I don't watch them to the end, but a lot of them are student efforts, so I'm not actually going to be bashing anybody on Spoilers Without Friends. I want to pick out the ones that really impressed me and that I watched to the end and actually enjoyed. Because even the ones that I don't get caught up by, the person who did it was like 17 and doing a much better job than I could do even now. So, even if it wasn't for me, I'm not going to say anything bad about them. They're all very, very sincere efforts.
Trying.
Yes, and so I'm going to start putting on a few of those, and so you can hopefully then go and watch those little shorts as well, and have some fun watching them. So that will be Spoilers Without Friends, but this was Spoilers with Friends. So we will say goodbye for now. We'll see you again later, and so thank you for joining me again, Anne. And we'll do this, and I don't know what we'll do next time, but we'll talk about another horror movie eventually.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.